Okay, we'll start with the prayers. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnana-Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we will begin today's discussion by first recapitulating what we discussed, what Prabhu discussed in the previous session. So what was the title of last week's session? Anybody remembers? Indra, please come. Acts that attract Krishna. Wonderful. So it was about what are the activities when performed attract the attention of Krishna. Because activities attract somebody's attention. Any activity you perform. If you perform good activity, you will attract the company of good people. If you act negatively, you will attract such negative company. So that is the nature of the world. So what kinds of activity will help us to attract the attention of Krishna or discussing? Would you like to share a few points? What kind of activities attract Krishna's attention? Didn't get you. Can you elaborate what that means?
Any act for pleasing Krishna.
Okay. So what activities did Prabhu discuss specifically? Nothing. Okay, no problem.
Following the Guru instructions.
Okay. Following Guru's instructions is one of the ways in which you can become dear to Krishna. That's for sure. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada. Yasya prasada nagati kutopi. This is an instruction which says that by pleasing Guru, spiritual master, one can become dear to Krishna. And without pleasing him, there is no Guru. So in the previous chapter, 12th chapter, in the ending shlokas, there is a big description of what traits or what activities actually make one divine and help one to become attracted to Krishna. I'll just go through them. They are really interesting shlokas. So this starts from the verse 13 in 12th chapter. Advaishta sarva bhutana maitra karana. I'll just touch upon a few. So here Krishna says, one who is not envious, but who is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, who is free from false ego, equal in both in happiness and distress, who is always satisfied and engaged in devotional service with determination, and whose mind and intelligence are in agreement with me. So he is not acting on his own whims. He is acting as per what Shastras say, what scriptures say. He is very dear to me. So goes on. Krishna describes what are traits that make a person dear to him. He for whom no one is put into difficulty. What does it mean? No one is put in difficulty means he does not create any circumstance that others feel pain. He'll always give a comfortable gesture. He doesn't act in a way that others feel bad. He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anxiety, and he is also not bothered by others' comments or circumstances. Who is steady in both happiness and distress. He is very dear to me. So these are the ones we should aspire to imbibe. A devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure. What does it mean by being pure? Please try.
Whose heart don't have any issues like lust, lying,
Nice. Anybody would like to try? What does it mean by being pure? Here it's mentioned for purity, the word is shuchi. Shuchi means clean.
No contamination.
No contamination, correct. Lector, what does it mean by being pure?
means
Not attached to any material things. Only think of Krishna spiritually.
anything also about Krishna is taking comes.
Mm-hmm.
There is no negative thing within us, or also if anything negative comes, we are stay away from it.
Mm-hmm. So purity is the force, Srila Prabhupada says. So purity means there's only one, there's no contamination. Like there are alloys. Alloys are made by mixing two, three metals. So there is some mixing. Purity means there is unalloyed. That's why Prabhupada says pure devotional service means unalloyed devotional service. There is no contamination. There is no other desire but to serve Krishna. So just this desire that I should be engaged in Krishna's service is purity. Daksha is expert. He is without any care. He doesn't think about the future. What will happen to me? Not that he will not plan properly. Just that he is confident that Krishna will take care of me. Avashya Rakshile Krishna. Free from all pains, who does not strive for some result, is very dear to me, and so forth. So he gives a big list. Finally, he concludes, as Ankit said, he who follows this imperishable path of devotional service, means following this yoga called Bhakti Yoga, and who completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. So for very, Sanskrit word is te ativa me priya. Ativa means very. Means very dear to Krishna. Who? One who makes Krishna as the supreme goal. There is no other goal to distract him. All other activities are just circumstantial to help you achieve that goal. And who completely engages himself with faith, Shraddhadhara, Mat Parama, and who follows this imperishable path of devotional service, so that person is very dear to Krishna. So these are the traits that we discussed in the previous session, and through which actually this chapter is the most important chapter in regards to Bhakti Yoga. Now next we will discuss about what are the symptoms through which one can actually test whether one is on the right path or not. So this lays down what are the criteria, what are the qualities one should get, like what we read, no? All these qualities are the standpoint based on which one can aspire. Now, after attaining, what will be the symptoms that one can see? Anyway, we can see these symptoms, But other than this, there are a few that we'll read in 13th chapter today. So the 13th chapter is titled Nature, Enjoy and Consciousness. So we'll read shloka by shloka. If anybody has book or you can open it mobile or share it across. You can sit in front here, left, so you can share it with him. Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva
Prakritim Purusham Chaiva
Kshetram Kshetrajnamevacha
Kshetram Kshetrajna Evacha
Etat Veditumicchami
Etat Veditumicchami
Jnanam Gneyam Cha Keshava.
Jnanam Gneyam Cha Keshava.
Then now Krishna responds Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Idam Shariram Kaunteya
Idam Shariram Kaunteya
Kshetram Ityavidhiyate
Kshetram iti abhidyate
Etat yo veti tam prahu
Etat yo veti tam prahu
Kshetrajna iti tad vidaha.
Kshetrajna iti tat vidaha.
Translation. Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, enjoy, and the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge, and the end of knowledge." The blessed Lord then describes all of these one by one. So, what are the topics that Arjuna wants to know? The first one is Prakriti. What is Prakriti? What is this material nature? What is Purusha? Next, what is the third point that Arjuna wants to know?
Field and the knower.
What is field? And who is the knower of the field? And then the last one? End of knowledge and the end of knowledge. Jnanam Niyam Cha Keshava. So totally there are 6 actually. So Krishna defines each one of them one by one. So the blessed Lord then said, this body that we have, this body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, Kshetra. And one who knows this body is the knower of the field. One may wonder why, after describing the whole series of shloka about the importance of Bhakti Yoga, why Arjuna is asking all these questions. It's clear, no? One should just enter devotional service directly. In the previous chapter, Krishna concludes, no? One who follows this path of devotional service, he is very, very dear to me, and he goes on saying. Now, why Arjuna, instead of surrendering and just going on forward, why is he putting these questions? So these questions are meant to bring about clarity about Krishna's position. So a devotee is never tired of hearing about the Lord. An actual spiritual seeker wants to know more and more about Krishna. That's why Krishna's another name is Ananta. Ananta means infinity or unlimited. Uncountable. Endless. So Krishna is Ananta. So to understand Krishna is not just a simple course that you can just complete and keep it aside. So he is unlimited. So to understand Krishna, devotees always hunger. Devotees never get tired. That's why for them every day is a new year. Nama Nama Rasa. Every day they enjoy new mellows, new enjoyments. We try various restaurants, various dishes every day, isn't it? But for devotees, each chapter, each verse is a different revelation, is a different recipe that they like to enjoy by understanding about Krishna. So here, Arjuna is putting forth these questions to understand what is the actual position of Krishna as the Supreme Lord, so that by knowing more, one can surrender more. So through this specific chapter brings about a concept of Paramatma. Has anybody heard of this word, concept? What is Paramatma?
Supreme Spirit.
Uh-huh.
The Supreme Spirit.
Supreme Spirit.
Super soul.
Super soul. Okay. What do you think is Paramatma?
Higher than seven.
Parama means superior. Superior than the normal Atma. True. So we'll come to that. So this specific chapter establishes how Krishna, even though he is the Supreme Lord, is coming down to assist each one of us with our own lives as Paramatma. So Arjuna wants Krishna to say that. So he is putting forth one by one questions. So Kshetrajna doesn't just limit to this particular living entity, we as Atma in this body, but there is another knower that will come to it. So here first Krishna is defining body as Kshetra, field, and the knower of this body, this Atma, as the Kshetrajna. Next shloka. Kshetrajnam chapi bhav vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata
Sarva-kshetreshu bharata
kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam
kshetra-kshetrajnayo jnanam
yatta jnanam matam mama.
yatta-jnanam matam.
Sujay, I think you can help the person sitting next, showing the verses. You can shift to that chair next to him. Translation. O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. So here Krishna is adding another perspective, another point onto it. That Kshetrajna, the knower of the field, this body, is not just the Atma. There is another person who is also knowing, he is also aware, conscious of what are of various things happening within our body. Who is that? What does this verse say? Who is that other person? I. Krishna is saying I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So again, the other topic that Arjuna has known, what is knowledge? So knowledge means to know this body and the actual owner of the body is the knowledge. So again, coming to this body, we will understand further. So what is this body?
Made of natural elements.
Made of Panchabhutas. Okay. But that is only the gross body that we see. But the body, Kshetra, this field that we have, not just has the gross body that we can touch, feel and sense. There is another body, material body that we all possess. That is called Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. What is that subtle body made of?
Mind, intelligence,
So that is made of Manas, Buddhi and Ahankar. Mind, intelligence and ego. So this is stated in the 7th chapter. In the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Bhumirapo Nayova Yogam Mano Buddhi Evacha Ahankara Vidiyam Me Bhinna Prakriti Rashtada. So all these 8 are separated energies of Krishna. So Krishna has various kinds of energies because he is the source of everything. All are his energies only. But in that again, there is a demarcation. There is separated energy and there is his own internal energy, his own superior energy. So in the separated also, there is a demarcation. One is gross. Gross means that which you can touch, feel and see with your senses, perceive with senses directly. And that is this gross body that we can see, right? This body made of kapha, pitta, vayu by makers that air. So this body is made of Panchabhutas. You know, right? What are the Panchabhutas?
Soil,
Huh?
sky, water, air, fire.
Okay. Correct. Right? Want to add?
fire.
Yeah. So sky means ether or space, and air is different. So air occupies some space in that. So these are the Panchabhutas, the great five elements. So these make up anything material element that we see here. Anything matter is made of them. Whereas there is another subtle which you cannot actually touch, but it is there. Just like when you say, do you have a mind? Are we mindless? We have mind, isn't it? We are able to think, we are able to make judgments, decisions.
I have a question like
Sure.
you said anything is made up of soil, air.
Correct.
But in science we listen, air is made up of so many elements, soil is made up of so
Correct.
many elements. Which is correct?
True. All those are trying to decode into the atomic elements. But these atomic elements are also another way of studying these Panchabhutas. So the way Vedic cosmology or Vedic science deals with is just to describe them with what we can see.
Like we say like solid, liquid, gas. It is categorization. So this is also categorized like that.
So there are different types of categorization. Even there is a section in the Shastra that talks about atomic science, Paramanu. In the scale of Paramanu, what happens? So that description is also there. But when it comes to how the whole creation started, so that even current modern science do not know. They are just proposing various theories. Like they say, starting there was a God's particle, boson, and then things started. There was an explosion. How that explosion came about. After that, what happened? So they start weaving so many theories. After that explosion, universe started expanding, and various elements separated into various sections, and then various bodies formed, and then they are evolving and so forth. But the creation, as per the Vedic science, is that there was some lump of matter called Mahatattva, and then it got agitated by the glance of Krishna. So Krishna just glanced. He just glanced at that Mahatattva. So that is the actual explosion. It's not exactly explosion, but that is the stimulus because of which the whole creation started. So from there, Ahankara started. So from Mahatattva, the lump of matter, gave rise to another section of material element called Pradhana. From Pradhana, Ahankara, false ego emerged. So false ego is also a separate element. And from false ego, various other elements like intelligence, mind, and then the Panchabhutas, all these emerged. So this is the different way of understanding how the creation came about. So once we delve deep in Srimad Bhagavatam, we will be able to understand. But still, this is also categorization based on atoms only. They are not losing on them, but just that this is a very interesting way of understanding creation based on the senses that we have. So there is a correlation between these Panchabhutas and the senses that we have. What are the five senses we have?
Eye, nose, tongue, ear, and skin.
Correct. So all these have a correlation with Panchabhutas. It said the sense of seeing has come about because of the Panchabhuta. I think it was that the sense of taste came out of earth. The sense of hearing, the hearing.
Came from space.
So like that, there is a correlation. So this is another kind of study of the creation. Anyway, we'll come to it later. So again, in body there are gross body and subtle body. Subtle body. Now, combinedly, what Krishna is saying, to understand this whole demarcation of what this body is made of, what is subtle body, what is gross body, and the owner of that body. Owner means, what does it mean by being an owner? What are the special
Who knows,
credentials owner has?
who knows the every aspect of the body, the owner,
Who is it?
is either you or Krishna.
Okay.
Like if you are controlling a body, you can't be the owner. But if you know the every aspect, then you can be the owner.
Anyone else would like to add? What does it mean by owner of the body? If not the body, let's say you are the owner of this room. What does it mean? What are the credentials that you possess by which you can be considered as the owner?
It belongs to you. You can do anything with
Anything with it. Okay.
Even if you put it on rent, and the renter will do anything with it. Now I IISc will do anything with it.
What is the power to control?
Okay. Anybody? Please try.
He owns the room.
He owns. What does it mean by owning the room? So,
It is his place.
so he can stay there. That is the thing. So, because this is his place, he can stay there. So here, the owner is actually not just referring to Paramatma, but also referring to Atma. So when we consider Atma as the owner, it means that living entity has the right to stay in that space. Just like if there is another room which is owned by others, then it's difficult to stay there. No? Even if you go to a relative's house, you have to come back to your own house again, isn't it? Even if you go for study, let's say we have come here, we stay in hostel for a few years and then we have to go back. We can't be here for long. So like that, a body is given for a specific period of time. And you have the right to stay in that body only. You are bounded by that ownership. And that is the nature of Atma. Whereas Paramatma is the complete owner. Like you said, he knows everything about that. That is the nature of Paramatma. Whereas we do not know what is happening in this world. Do we know how the digestion is happening? How whatever water goes inside is getting processed this way or that way? How cells are dividing themselves? What nourishment they need? We don't know anything about it, isn't it? But it's happening. By superior law, it's happening. But Krishna, as the owner of this body, knows everything. And again, coming to your point that we can act whimsically, whatever we want with this body, is also true to a certain extent. We have an independence. We have an independence to use this body. Use this body which has various facilities, but under a certain limit. Everybody has a limit. In that limit, we can use this body with our own independence. So when one properly utilizes this independence, he is a proper citizen. One who misutilizes this independence is a criminal. Just like every citizen in this government has got some free will, isn't it? Have got some independence. That's why we say we are an independent country, by namesake. But we say we are independent. So we can choose to do whatever kind of occupation we want. We can choose to vote for a specific political party that we want. We can choose to eat whatever plate we want. Like recently, Prabhu also mentioned, my plate, my right. So celebrity has started a movement saying it's my plate. I can choose to eat whatever I want.
right to speech,
Right to speech, all these things. But even though you have all these rights, it doesn't mean you keep speaking whatever blabber nonsense you want to.
Like for having a right, you have some right to some fundamental duties also.
Correct.
You can't take, you should also give.
Correct. And even when you take, you should take only in certain limits. Even when you go and buy food, let's say, if you buy more than some certain quantity, they will ask you, do you have some specific credentials, specific proof that you want to take this much grain, this much food? What is the purpose for which you are taking this much? Because that will hamper others also, no? Because others are also depending on that facility, on that supply. That's why the Shastras say, Ishavasya vidam sarvam. Sarvam means? Sarvam. Sarvam complete.
Everywhere.
Everything.
Huh?
Everything.
Correct.
All.
Everything. Sarvam means? Sarvam means everything. Ishavasya. Ishavasya means? Isha means the supreme controller. The supreme controller is the Supreme Lord Krishna, Supreme Absolute Truth. Ishavasya. So everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord. Everything. So what we should do by knowing that? Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat kena jaktena bunjita magrida kasya siddhana. So knowing that everything is Krishna's property, you should only utilize that which is necessary for sustenance, not more than that. So you should know what belongs to you, what belongs to others, and you should not encroach upon others' property. So this knowledge one should cultivate, that everything is Krishna's. So 4th chapter, 35th verse describes what is actual true knowledge. So it gives 3 segments of knowledge. It says, one who knows that every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Every living entity is but an amsha of Krishna, because he is related to Krishna, because he is coming out of Krishna. That's why whatever people say, we are manufacturing God to appear like human. Anthropomorphism. The idea that God is manufactured based on human body is a separate theory. They say you worship God in human form because you can only think human form. It's not that. It's actually the other way around. We are in human form because Krishna has that human form. So Krishna took that two-handed form with hands, legs, hips, thighs. That's why we also have that human form. So Krishna is the source. Krishna is the Supreme Father, Varapitamaha, and we are all his sons. So we are Amsha. Every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna, and we are also situated in Krishna's energy.
What about another animals?
Everyone. So animals are living entities, but they are evolving to come to the highest existence, which is human form of life. So human form of life is a privilege. It's a very high privilege, but we don't realize its value. Manushan Janmam Sudurlabham. So it is very, very rare to attain. In every life form, sense gratification is available. Eating, sleeping, waiting, defending, all these will be available in every life form you take. But in this human form of life, you can think beyond this four. So that ability in other life forms is not possible. So given that faculty, we should not degrade down and act like animals, just limiting our activities to just these four: eating, sleeping, waiting, defending. That's it. So that faculty when we have, we should exercise. So in this human form of life, we can realize, so the 3 aspects of that final knowledge is the one that every living entity, everything which is actually composed of 2 things, matter and spirit. That is actually a knowledge that comes in the 8th chapter. So every life form you see has 2 components, life and matter, spirit and matter. So this is part parcel of Krishna, and that they are situated in Krishna. So they cannot act in any other foreign environment which is not Krishna's energy. So wherever they are in Krishna's energy. We are sitting in this room, this is also Krishna's energy. You may say, I'll escape and I'll be in the air. That is also Krishna's energy. I'll go in the water. That is also Krishna's energy. Wherever you go, like Hiranyakashipu tried, isn't it? So Hiranyakashipu, he tried. Okay, Brahma is saying I can't attain immortality. Maybe I'll try in the other way around. He said, I should not be killed in the air, I should not be killed in the water, I should not be killed on the ground, I should not be killed inside the house, outside the house, I should not be killed by any weapon, I should not be killed by an animal, I should not be killed by a human. So many conditions he tried. So like that we can try various ways and means, but we cannot escape the law of the Lord. So we cannot escape the energy of Krishna. It is all pervading. That's why the Lord's very important name is Vishnu. What is the meaning of Vishnu? One who is all pervading. The one who is all pervading. Brihat Vishnu. So it is described that that personality, that energy which is all pervading to the nook and corner of the whole existence, that personality is Vishnu. So this is one. First is that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Second is that everybody is situated in Krishna. And the third, that even though we are part and even though they are situated, they are always Krishnas. They are eternally related with Krishna. So one may forsake, like sometimes some children leave their family and go on the streets, saying, I don't want to belong to this family, it's very nasty family, I don't want to tag with that family, so I will have another life. They may rebel and go out, but still that relation exists. So like that, even though we don't want Krishna, we are eternally related. We are always bonded with Krishna. So Krishna Bhakti is always there. We are always in touch with Krishna. Just that we are trying to forget it. So these are the three components of knowledge, again as defined in 4th chapter. We'll just go to the actual crux. So today's title, what is the title today? Traits of the Enlightened. So that starts from the 8th verse. We'll just quickly go to that. Text 4. Tat kshetram yancha yatrincha yat vikari yatascha yat sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrudu. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. It's a very complicated description. He said, field of activity, kshetra, whatever field is, just like people go to play cricket, isn't it? There's a field here. So like that we are given this field. So what that actual field is, and what its constituents are, and what its changes are. Because field is again matter, so it will go through changes. What are its changes, and how is it once it is produced, and who is the knower of the field? As I said, that living entity is the knower, and what his influences are. Next sloka. Rishmir Bahuna Gitam Chabdo Bhirvividhai Pratak Brahma Sutra Padaishchaiva Hetu Madhir Vinishchitaihi. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. So it's a very deep subject matter, especially in the Vedanta Sutra, and is presented with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Hetu Madhya Vinashchitaihi. Hetu means cause, and the contrary to that is effect. So what is Vedanta Sutra? Anybody knows what Vedanta Sutra is? Brahma Sutra is also known by that name. What is Vedanta Sutra?
Sutras in Veda.
Correct. What is Sutra? Correct. Formula. Formulas. Sutra is formula. Huh?
Formulas.
Formulas. So Vedanta. So there are how many Vedas? Presently 4, right? Rig, Yajur, Saru, Atharvana Vedas are there. So these 4 Vedas, after compilation, who compiled all these 4? Srila Vyasadeva. So after compiling, he finally assimilated all the Vedas as Vedanta Sutra, giving the gist of all the Vedic knowledge in the form of formulae. So this formula, all these constituents, like I'll just give a brief, are very deep. So one who is self-realized can keep on contemplating for years together on the same formula. So such deep are these. So one of the formula is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So it means Athato means that now you have entered in this human form of life. Atha means now that you have entered this human form of life, what you should do? Brahma Jigyasa. Brahma means knowledge. Brahma means actually Vedas. Here Brahman refers to spirit, spiritual in nature. Brahma Jigyasa. Jigyasa means
Desire.
desire, okay. But it means something more. What is Jigyasa? Inquire.
Language to know,
Eager to know.
eager to know.
Eager to know. Correct. Curiosity. So Krishna says there are 4 kinds of spiritual seekers who come to him. What are the 4? Anybody remembers? There are 4 kinds of spiritual seekers who come to Krishna.
Who wants something?
Yeah, who wants something material. Okay.
Who want
Come out
wealth?
of distress.
Now out of distress. Next.
Who want wealth?
Who want wealth. That's what he meant. Next.
Friendship.
Friendship.
And
Who wants friendship, relationship?
Who wants to know knowledge?
Who wants?
Knowledge.
Who is in knowledge?
Learning.
Jnani. And the final one is this. Who is curious? Who is jigyasa? Who is curious? You want to say something?
Looks very useless.
So, these are the 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna. So, of them, who is the best?
Curious one.
Okay, why do you think so? Because he's curious? Because you are curious?
Yeah.
So you think curious? But Krishna gives his own opinion. You know? Do you know what Krishna's opinion is?
Like for anybody who wants a materialistic thing,
Uh-huh.
he get to first he wants to know that Krishna can give him. Then he go to Krishna. But if anyone is curious to know to get into Krishna, then he will directly go. No? You don't have to do some research.
I didn't get you. Can you brief it?
Like if I want wealth, I will try try to interact with God Lakshmi. Then if I get rejected there, then I will go to Krishna.
Correct.
But if I am interested and curious about Krishna, then I will directly go to Krishna. So that's why the curious one comes first.
Yeah, it's superior than others. But there is a qualification given to all these 4. They are punya, they are sukrutina, they are pious. Even though these 4 are from different backgrounds, but there's one credential is that they have to have sufficient pious credits to at least come to Krishna. Otherwise, even though they may have so many desires, they will never come to Krishna. They will want to try their own means. They will never come to accept that there is something supreme to which I should go and beg. That's why, in the Western culture, the act of bowing down, like in our Vedic culture, in our Indian culture, bowing down to our parents, to our superiors, to our teachers also, is a very traditional culture is going on. we respect. Even our parents, if not daily, actually we have to do daily. We used to do daily, but now at least on some special occasions like when festival is there, we go and bow down to our parents at least. But in the Western culture, it's not so. You know why? Please try. Because Western culture emphasizes more on being independent. We are all independent. So let's say after the phase of being a teenager or youngster, they just live their own life, separate from their parents. They don't have much connection with them. Maybe on Father's Day or Mother's Day they come, greet and go, that's it. They don't have much connection as we have in our Indian culture. Though. So there, the same way, Western culture is now being infused in our Indian culture also to destroy all our roots. So this act of bowing down is actually very, very important. Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya says, bowing down is so important that it is one of the angas that Krishna describes in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, there are 4 things if you do, you will for sure come back to me. You will become liberated, you will be self-realized. Of them, the supermost anga is, what is it? Nama. Nama means pay obeisances, be respectful. Manmana bhavat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mam namaskuru. Pay obeisances. Offer respects. Bow down. So whenever you go to temple, you have to bow down. So the act of bowing down will develop a sense of gratitude and allow the person to whom you are bowing down to be merciful unto you. So why we bow down to our parents and superiors? So that they will be merciful upon us and grant us blessings and knowledge and whatever wisdom they have. So if we become rebellious and we be independent in our thought actions and try to do our own ways and means, we will not seek mercy. So even Bible also says, no, unless one is humble, one cannot reach the supreme abode. There's a very famous statement, no? It's the Lord's abode is only for the humble and meek, something like that. So pride goes before a fall. Like that, there are some quotes which say that unless you be humble enough to accept that I know only limited, I have to bow down to Supreme Lord, and then by bowing down I will receive mercy. So bowing down is a very, very important aspect one should cultivate. Now again, coming back to that jigyasa. So jigyasa, again I didn't clarify. No? So Krishna says, of all these 4, artha, arthati, jnani, jigyasu, Krishna says, jnani is the most elevated of all. Why jnani? You can read in the 7th chapter. It's very important. So unless one approaches Krishna in knowledge, still we can fall back to our old traits. So Vedanta Sutra, the supermost aphorism is, now that you have got to know form of life, one should engage in, be curious about spiritual subject matter. This material subject matter, where to eat, oh this restaurant is nice, that restaurant is nice, maybe I should watch this YouTube channel, new channel has come, very interesting videos are coming up. All these things will go on. But questioning things beyond is the faculty that we have got. Just like this mobile phone, we can do so many things. For example, I can make payments, I can maybe even book a ticket for the train and so forth. But if I just use this mobile to make calls and nothing more, then I am downgrading it. I am not using it to its own full potential. So a human body full potential is to be utilized in Krishna's service, not to limit to bodily service. Bodily service, Vishaya Kalu Sarvatasyat. It is there in every form of life. Very boldly, Srimad Bhagavatam says, in every form. In eating, do you think you are great in eating? See elephant, how many tons of grass and how many tons of plants it eats daily. You cannot match it. Sleeping also, there are some bears who sleep months together. Can you match them? They sleep for 15, 16 hours and you think, oh, slept so much. You cannot enjoy like them in sleeping. Waiting also, there are so many animals in that regard. And defending also. Defending, Prabhupada says very interestingly, a bird, so you know, if a bird is standing on the road, suddenly one cycle is coming or one car has come with a very high speed. Immediately the moment it notices car is coming, it can fly and go along. But can you? The moment you see a car, you can only see. Before you act, you'll be in hospital. Prabhupada says that's how. Even defending we are not so perfect. So we have got this ability in this human form of life to be able to inquire. So why don't we use this ability that we have got in human form of life? That's what Vedanta Sutra is saying. So next section which says Mahabhutanya hankaro buddhir avyaktam evacha indriyani dashekam cha pancha chendriya gocharaha ichha dvesha sukham dukkham samghadaschetana dhritihi etat kshetram samasena sadikaram udahritam. So these are the interactions of the field of activities. I'll just list them a few. The five great elements, Panchbhutas, false ego, intelligence, mind also comes later. The unmanifested, this is Abhyaktam. Just like people say, dark energy. So that's referring to that, unmanifested energy. The 10 senses. The 10 senses include, we only talk about 5 senses, no? Whenever you say about senses. So as per the Shastra, there are 2 kinds of senses. One is Jnanendriya, another is Karmendriya. Input Indriya, output Indriya. So that Indriya through which you take knowledge from the surroundings, that is Jnanendriya. That's what we know. Eyes, nose, ears, tongue. But there are Karmendriya also, like our hands, our legs, our genitals, all that. So through which we change the matter outside. Again, mind 5 sense objects. So each sense has got a sense object, Vishaya. Desire, hatred, happiness, distress, aggregate. Aggregate means sound together. Sanghata. The life symptoms, convictions, dhriti. So all these actually are coming about because of interaction between field of activities. So between the body, when all these come together, all these emerge. Just like after churning, you will get so many other things from it. Now this is the core verse that we want to discuss from 8th to 12th. You all can repeat. I'll just chant line after line. Amanitvam adambitvam Ahimsa kshantirajyavam Acharyopasanam shaucham Stharyam atmavinigrahah Indriyartheshu vairagyam Anahankara evacha Janma mrityu jara vyadhi Dukkha doshanudarshanam Asaktir anabhishvanga Putradara grihadishu Nityam cha samachittatvam Ishtadishtopapattishu Mayi chananya yogena Bhaktir avyabhicharini Vivikta desha sevitvam Aratirjana samsadi अध्यात्मज्ञान नित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यततोऽन्यथा. So through this a big list of 20 items of knowledge, Krishna says these are the ones that the enlightened possess. So these are the traits through which one can actually notice whether one is on the right path. So the poster actually shows a very big path leading to Krishna. So one can actually notice whether one is on the right path or not if one has developed all these. So we'll go through one by one. First is humility. Humility means humility. Humility means
Kind of respect.
respect.
Disrespect them.
You say what is humility according to you?
Like I heard humility. Humiliation I have heard.
Humiliation. Humiliation is different. Hostility. All is different. Humiliation is being rude or offending others, but humility means being grounded and being respectful to others and not expecting honor for ourselves. So Prabhupada defines humility very interestingly. I'll just read that. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. This is humility. So we always anchor, no? People should praise, say this much big code I have written, all the lab has seen, but nobody has come to me to say anything. Because it was published, no likes. I put it on the Twitter, but still nobody has still commented. I put on LinkedIn also. It has been 2 days. What is happening? So, humility means that one should not be anxious. So, our anxiety should be how can I purify myself, but not on how to boast myself. So, one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. So, being honored by others is one kind of satisfaction, you know? Isn't it? Don't you think it is satisfaction? The satisfaction is good, isn't it? Very happy to feel in the heart when people keep praising us. You think it is good when you keep feeling always on the cloud nine? Whenever you go to lab, everybody keeps praising. Oh, you know everything about us. Why don't you please come and help? Everybody will pull you.
It will help you to gain ego so easily.
You can really get more ego. You'll be much more stronger.
Like even your confidence will grow so high that you will get overconfident.
Yeah. Good, no? Overconfident. Why?
Because you can't know everything. At some moment, people will have over expectations from you.
Correct. So?
So you may disappoint them. Then that time, they will. If you are having a habit of being honored by even like you are not the genius in the world. There are some people who are better than you. If people found them, you honor them, then you may have a jealousy. You may feel bad.
Together.
Yeah, what he said is true. Sadness will generate that moment.
So, like even my mother used to say, if anything really good happens in life, then it means something bad is going to come.
But everything in life is going bad then.
Then something good will come.
More bad will come.
Maybe next.
Then something more bad is going to happen.
No, see, bad has anyway come. The fact that you are this material world is the most worst thing. The Guru of our Srila Prabhupada, Acharya says, this world is not for a gentleman. This world, where you see so many problems, every time you try to impress one person, they'll find another fault in you. Everywhere there is no satisfaction, but we feel there is satisfaction. We try still. Just like a dog, even though it has got beatings from so many people, even though it has found that in this garbage I don't find food, this garbage also don't find, but still it goes on searching the same garbage every day because it doesn't know anything else. So we are like the dogs, hungry. So we keep doing the same thing over and over, purasarvita charvana. But whatever bad happens in this world, it's still not bad because the fact that we have got this human body is a very, very big blessing that we have got. So, this Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga is so sublime, so wonderful that it doesn't need any other possession or any other good circumstance than just a simple ingredient, that is eagerness. Once you have eagerness, you don't need any other possession. You may not have even food to cook. You may not have even proper clothes to wear. That's fine. Lord will do whatever is necessary. But still you can be Krishna conscious. You can be topmost yogi, self-realized. That's why Sri Bhagavatam says, Ahetuki apratihata. The topmost religion, the perfection of religion is that one has to develop love of God. Right? This is what the goal of religion is. Any religion you take, either Sanatana Dharma you take, or Christian religion you take, or Islamic, whatever different kinds of religions are coming. Finally, the goal is to develop love of God. But even in developing love of God, the topmost religion is that which helps one to achieve this unconditional and unmotivated devotional service to the Lord. Means it's unconditional. Whatever condition you will be in, still you can practice. There is nothing barring you from doing this. So there is a very interesting story. So this is about a great devotee who was a pauper. Pauper in the sense he was very, very poor. Yes. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Take this book. He isn't keeping well. He isn't keeping well. That's why he didn't come today. We'll wait. Bye. Okay. So there's a very interesting story of a person. He was a very great devotee, but he didn't have any money to even cook food for himself. He used to beg whatever food would come to him. Some days he would prepare, otherwise he would fast. So one day while meditating about the Lord, he thought in the dream, he was daydreaming. So while meditating he thought, oh, it would have been nice if I had a very nice temple. So he visualized, oh, I have a nice temple, there are wonderful deities. Then in that temple, he was thinking, oh, very nicely decorated are this Radha Krishna. I should offer some prasada. Let me cook something. So he goes to the kitchen inside that virtual environment he's in. So he goes to the kitchen, he finds, yes, I have rice, I have jaggery, I have milk, let me prepare some sweet rice. So he switches on the stove, he'll put the vessel, he starts cooking. Then he thinks to himself, oh, very nicely, kheer is coming, the sweet rice is coming, Lord will like it so much, let me cook it nicely. Huh? No, he will not taste. So, devotees will not taste before offering to the Lord. Even one should not smell. But in some cases, if you are thinking that you're about to burn, you can smell, but you should not even smell with the mentality to enjoy. So, there was another story of Madhava and Gauri, will not come to it. But, so the devotee was cooking, and after cooking, he saw that this is properly well prepared. He added dry fruits and everything. Now he put it in the bhoga plate. You know bhoga plate, right? So for the Lord, while you serve, you serve it in a specific other plate, which is only meant for the Lord. You don't eat in that. So he took that plate, everything in daydream, okay? So he served there, and before taking to the Lord, he was just seeing whether this is in proper temperature or not. So, by visual inspection in the dream, he felt that it was cool enough that he can be taken to the altar before the Lords. But just to test, he just dipped his hand to check whether it is cool enough. The moment he touched, he came out of the dream. He came out of the dream and he saw in reality his hand was burnt. So whatever he was doing in the dream was actually real. So the moral of the story is the Lord, deity, Archa Vigraha we say the temple, can be made of how many? 6 elements. It's described in the Shastras. One, it can be made out of stone, it can be made out of marble, it can be made out of wood, it can be even considered in the mirror. DT also can be considered in the mirror. It can be even made out of acrylics, not acrylics, the water paintings, the paintings that we have. Or it can also be in the mind. In the mind. So DT can also be made in the mind. As per the Shastra, you can't imagine some new form. It's there, that is my Lordship. But as per what you know, when you visualize, the Lord will accept even in your mind. So whatever arti you do in your mind, like in our Kartik month, we offer ghee lamps to the Lord. So let's say you are in a situation where you can't light a ghee lamp. Let's say you are traveling, you are in the aeroplane, you can't just get your diya there and you start offering them. People will say, why are you lighting here? They'll come and extinguish the fire and do so many things. So at the circumstances, you can offer the diya lamp in your mind. Still that is valid. So, the devotee offered in the mind and Lord accepted. So, why were we discussing about this? Anybody remembers? That Lord's worship cannot be hampered by any other circumstances. And that's because we are talking about humility. Humility means we should not expect any honor and be ready to offer all respects to others. So in this regard, we discussed about the topmost form of religion, where that is to be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So the next is, after humility comes Adampitvam. Adampitvam means pridelessness. How is it different? Pridelessness.
No egoistic.
No ego. Right? What do you think? What is prideless? What is pridelessness?
Feeling higher.
Not feeling higher.
I mean, instead of thinking everything done by me, as you said, egoist, everything done because of the God.
So, pridelessness comes when you know who is the actual doer of everything, as you said. When you think you are a doer of everything, then you are ahankara vivudhatma kartaviti vajyate. Out of ahankara, out of false ego, one thinks that I am the doer and keeps on accumulating so much pride. So even Prabhupada here defines One should not be hankering after the material deception of receiving honor or dishonor. Correct. So, pridelessness means that one is not even ready to, one who is ready to accept dishonor. So, usually the definition of humility is on the other side. One who is not anxious to receive honor, but they may not be ready to accept dishonor. But pridelessness means you are utterly ready to even accept dishonor. Dishonor means even though, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defines, amanina manadena, even though they curse you, they spit at you, still you offer all respects unto them. So that pridelessness can only be cultivated when one becomes a devotee of the Lord. Without that, it's very difficult. So here Prabhupada also says, people are very anxious to be famous for their religion, and consequently sometimes it is found that without understanding the principles of religion, one enters into some group which is not actually following religious group, and then wants to advertise himself as a religious mentor. So even amongst religion, such thing is happening. Why so many clashes are happening between Hindus, Muslims, again Christians? So many clashes because of this. One who is prideless, he does not want to wage war. As for actual advancement in spiritual science, one should have a test to see how far he is progressing. He can judge by these items. The next one is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. So non-violence means usually not to just commit any violence against others, right? But here Prabhupada broadens the understanding. Prabhupada says, non-violence means not to put others into distress. In general, non-violence means one should not put others into distress. In any kind of distress, either bodily, mental, any other kind of distress. One should not be eager. One should not even attempt to put others into distress. So even understanding what the distress means. People in general are trapped by ignorance in the material concept of life. Material concept of life is thinking I am this body, and then perpetually suffer material pains. So unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. Can you comprehend what I said? Unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. So if you are not alleviating the suffering of others, in other words, if you are not educating others in spiritual knowledge, you are committing violence. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. So, unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. So if you are not distributing this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to others, you are violent. So one should try his best to distribute real knowledge to people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. That is non-violence. So non-violence doesn't actually just mean bodily, mental or any other subtle, gross levels, but also refers to the spiritual level. Spiritually, everybody is suffering, everybody is crying. So, on the spiritual platform, like Krishna defines, Anandavaya Abhyasa, everybody is hankering for happiness. That's for sure. Isn't it? Can you pinpoint any person who is not wanting happiness? No, I only want to suffer every day. Throughout the day, I just want suffering more and more. Anyway, that could be the desire of a pure devotee like Vasudeva Ghosh. So there are some pure devotees who are desiring such things, that throughout the year, throughout the day, I just want to keep suffering. But we don't want. We just want to be happy always. So this happiness is a spiritual hankering. So this desire to be happy is not material. We want to be happy because we are Krishnas. He said, no? Because Krishna is always hankering for happiness, we are also hankering for happiness. So whenever you see the desire in others that they are wanting to be happy, you should identify that is Krishna's presence. So when you see that hankering in others, we should try to provide the spiritual way of enjoying this world. So spiritual variegatedness is also there. Okay. So after non-violence, what is the next point? Ahimsa, Shanti. Isn't it? Please read.
Shanti.
Means
Tolerance.
tolerance. Right? Isn't it? What does it mean by tolerance? Resistance has tolerance, you know. Whenever you buy a resistance is color coded, no? After color coding, at the last two, there will be two bars which define tolerance limits, 10% or 5% tolerance limits. So, what is tolerance?
Reluctance.
Limit to
Sorry,
something.
limit to handle abnormal circumstances. Anything?
Patience.
Patience. Okay. Tolerance. Another word for tolerance in Sanskrit is titiksha. Titikshava. Please try. What do you mean by tolerance? Like this table. If it were made of, let's say, foam, then the moment I would have put this book, it would have just gone down. But still, this is made of, because this is made of wood, I am able to put here. So it is tolerating my burden. So what does it mean? Tolerance.
Capacity.
Capacity. Capacity for what?
Taking pressure.
Pressure. Pressure for what? Please try. So tolerance. Sorry for so many disturbances in between. So there are some problems happening in terms of managing this prasad. So tolerance means, Prabhupada defines, tolerance means that one should be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. So tolerance is a very divine quality. So only great saintly persons have this. We don't have tolerance. Maybe for namesake you can say that I am very tolerant, but we don't have tolerance. So Bhagavad defines Titikshva Karunika Surada Sarvadena, big list. Sadhava Sadhu Bhushanam. So Bhushana means ornament, right? So there are so many ornaments we wear, no? To appear wonderful, to appear gentle, handsome, so many. So sadhus wear another kind of ornament. Ornaments for sadhu are the divine qualities. So one of the divine ornament that they wear is tolerance. Titikshva. So tolerance means one should be prepared to bear insult. So how does one develop tolerance? By practice. So let's say you usually have food at 8 p.m. every day. Now the other day, let's say somehow for some reason you're not getting food.
Means feeling bad inside or without feeling anything.
No, that is later point. You should feel, but you are tolerating. Like let's say somebody, let's say I got in mathematics or 80 out of 100. Immediately the moment maths period comes, math teacher will come, he'll ask to show my hand and he will beat. Then what do? We tolerate. He'll beat, there will be red color on the hands or on the back. We just tolerate, sit nicely. We just tolerate. What can we do? Can we do something? Maybe we can just write in our book saying this person, this teacher is like this and show to our parents and do something. But nothing much we can do, we just tolerate. Maybe some people, very intelligent people were there in my school. So they used to wear 7-8 pants inside and come on that specific day when the results would be announced. So we can try like that. That's how people have so many ways to handle uncertain circumstances. Like for earthquake, people instead of tolerating, okay, earthquake, to I'll tolerate. Instead of that, they make plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. They make no different plans. If this collapses, then I'll go, I'll hide there. And if I have to stay there for hours days together, I'll have some cereals put there. All that settlement they can make. But even though you make so many plans, still your plans can be smashed. So tolerance is cultivated through austerity. Tapasya. Tapasya means? Tapasya means?
Continuously we are trying for acquiring.
Acquiring what?
I mean, deep God's mercy.
Focusing on God.
Okay. That is topmost tapasya, but in general, what tapasya is? Tapasya means?
Controlling senses.
Controlling senses. Okay. That is one form of bodily tapasya.
Sadhana.
Focus on certain thing.
Yeah. See, in all these things, as you can see, the general theme is there is a natural flow, but you don't want that to happen, so you are restraining. So tapasya in general refers to anything that you are doing to experience inconvenience. There's a river flowing in downstream. If you want to swim upstream, it is very inconvenient. Like that, body urges are so nicely laid out. They will what to do. The moment you have urge to eat dosa, the body will say, go, 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 please have, please have. But if you go upstream, no, I will not eat. Body will say, go, go, eat. But still you will say, no, I don't want to. So there is a war happening inside. So when people do tapasya, they will stand in Trikonasana for days together. Then body will say, no, it's enough, let's sit now. But you will say, no, I will not sit, I will stand only. So when you go against and handle inconvenience for greater good, that is tapasya. So through tapasya, you can develop tolerance. Without tapasya, you can never be tolerant. So tolerance is a very, very important quality that people in the present age really lack. When we book Swiggy, it says 25 minutes to deliver. If he gets delayed by 2 minutes, we become intolerant. Isn't it? So that is the nature of this world. This world is such that it trains us to be more and more intolerant. It doesn't train us to be tolerant. Whereas our Vedic culture, this is just my observation of the rituals. I don't know why this reason is. So in my house, whenever we buy any new item or new clothes, we wait for the proper muhurta to come, then we use it. Let's say we even buy a mobile phone. It's very enchanting, very brand new. Let's say even we buy it. once my father bought iPhone. Still, even when we buy that, we won't use immediately because Muhurta has not come yet. So we go open the Panchanga and see. After 3 days, there is one Muhurta. So we keep till that time the phone in the cupboard only. When that Muhurta comes, we put Haldi, we put it some mantra, and then we start using. Right? Usually we do. Even for clothes, generally. Clothes also you buy, but you don't wear immediately. You keep it for some time until the proper Muhurta comes. Then,
Vehicles.
for vehicle also, you usually vehicles are bought some certain dates only, like that. So why all these rituals are there? These are meant to develop tolerance. Else, we are usually restless. The moment you get some object of enjoyment, you want to enjoy immediately. The moment, let's say, pizza comes on your plate, you want to eat immediately. You don't want to think anything. Right? The moment video comes on your phone, you have to hit play button. Isn't it? But it's not so. By such training which we are giving to our body, no? This is the training. The whole culture is training. Whatever culture you have developed, no, it's all because of training. What training you give to the body, that culture comes out. So if you train your body in this way to be intolerant, we will act in such intolerant way even with ourselves at times. And the extreme level of intolerance is to think that I don't deserve this world. So the next component, we will just conclude with this. The next component in the items of knowledge is after Shanti, is Arjava. What does it mean by Arjava? Arjava. Arjava means simplicity. Simplicity. What does it mean by simplicity? You can try.
Live with minimal things.
Correct. Minimalism is one idea of simplicity. Any other idea? What is simplicity?
Plan for simple life. Planning simple.
Any other viewpoint? What do you think is being simple?
No complications.
Correct. No complications. Straightforward. Straightforward. No double faces. Sometimes people act differently in different friend circles. They have very various ways of channels. Once they are with one friend, they are in another mode. The moment they change friend circle, another mode. They keep switching. With parents, we talk in different way. With friends, we talk in different way. They keep switching. So, being not so straightforward, complicated way. This is one. Any other? What is being simple? Simple means very clear as slate, mirror. No complications. Prabhupada says a Brahmana is actually meant to be simple. His life is the motto. Prabhupada says the motto is plain living, high thinking. So living should be very simple. We'll start chanting. 2 minutes. So the life should be very plain, simple, but thinking should be very high. So Brahmanas, they would voluntarily accept one vrata called Daridriya Vrata. Daridriya Vrata means the vrata of being always poor. They would never, even though they get so much dana, even though they would get so much wealth and opulence and charity, they would give away to others. They will never keep for themselves. So, Brahmanas have this quality. What is Pataka Phataka Yazana Yajana Dana Pratigraha? They take and they give also. They don't keep anything with themselves. So, this Brahmanas always, they keep their life so simple that the goal is very clear. That's why in this current life again, people avoid minimalism. For everything, they need a new gadget. Isn't it? Because they are complicating the life. That's what they want. So the more complications you add, the more we are dependent on the matter. In actuality, we should depend on the spirit. In this world, as I said, there are two components, matter and spirit. If you are depending more on matter, your dependency on spirit will come down, isn't it? Like when you take source you drink milk from one container, you can't drink from the other. One or the other you have to choose. So if you are depending on matter more, then your dependence on spirit will come down. So Brahmanas would accept such vrata so that they would be put into uncertainties and problems where they can always be dependent on the Lord. So Kunti Devi, actually we'll conclude this, Kunti Devi prays, Vipada Santo Tashashvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya Apunar Bhava Darshanam. Kunti Maharani says, O Lord, let the calamities befall upon me. Let there be more and more calamities in my life. Why? Does anybody pray like this? Does anybody go to the Lord and pray, Oh Lord, please give me more and more problems? We say Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Bhagya Dehi, all this Dehi, we keep asking. But we never ask Vipada Dehi, we'll never ask. But Kunti Maharani is praying like that. Why? Because she says, when Vipada comes, we remember you. That's all. No? Devotee's case is different. In non-devotee case, when Vipada comes, we run away from Krishna. Whereas in case of devotees, when difficult circumstances comes, they become more dependent on Krishna. So through this systematic analysis, one understands that simplicity is the way to remain in knowledge. The more you complicate, you will deter from knowledge, path of knowledge. I'll just read the statement. Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. So straightforward, as you said. As for acceptance, the next one is Acharya Upasana. We'll read the later part. So there's a big description. We just covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components. The other 15 we will cover in the next session. So there are the different sections. I just wanted to create some interest in reading this chapter. If you don't have the book, you can consult a kid. He will help you get a copy of Bhagavad Gita. But please do read Bhagavad Gita daily. So these sections are just meant to motivate you to read, but you should take time every day to read yourself. Because unless you eat yourself, you will not feel satiated. I can try to give you food, that's it, but you should eat yourself. So let's practice Mantra meditation and conclude the session. Anybody has any questions in the meantime? Please circulate the beads. Question? Comments? Any question? No question? Great competition.
I have a question.
Okay.
The question is, like, doing
Tapasya.
doing japam is
Japa.
mandatory in our life.
Correct.
But somehow we will distract.
Correct.
I mean, there are hundreds of reasons and ways to distract.
Correct.
But in that time, God always give a chance to us, right?
Correct.
To give it. That how much, I mean, He will give that level of chance. How many times He will give it?
So He never loses hope upon you. So He is always waiting. So He is always waiting. That's why He has come to you in your body as Paramatma and waiting to see when you will turn to Him. He is waiting. He never loses hope upon you. Even though you disobey and go away from Him millions of times, still He is waiting. But we should not take advantage and keep disobeying Him. But one should take at least one step at a time and try to rectify ourselves. See, we may be at minus 99.99, we should try 99.98 at least. Slightly you go up. So you try one step to go towards Krishna, he will show himself. So even though it is difficult, let's say for chanting as you said, it may be difficult to chant alone. If you try to chant with others, or maybe chanting in the night is difficult, you can try to wake up early in the morning when distractions are less, then you can practice japa. Or maybe in your room is difficult because you are alone, maybe sit outside in the greenery and try to chant. But you should take time. When you give time to Krishna, Krishna will give time to you. So when you show sincerely that I want you, that's what Krishna says. No, ye yathava prapadyante tam satayava jnanam. How much you surrender, that much he will reward you. You cannot expect that I will do nothing or I will do just minimal whatever I can do in my own comfort level and Krishna will do whatever wonders you want. You have to stretch. Healthy stretch. Even in exercise they say no, unless you stretch, let's say you are doing 4 reps in some exercise, you should do at least once in a week 5 reps, just slightly stretch, then your muscles will grow. Just you be in your comfort level, you will not grow. So Bhagavad Gita is meant for a progressive devotee who want to make progress, who want to make their path back to God. So all these traits are also meant for those who want to progress and go. So Krishna is waiting when we take this step. That's it. So we should actually always assess what steps can I take to progress. So we should not be stagnant. Like once devotee was saying, when water is stagnant, what happens? Mosquitoes breed. So like that, when we are stagnant, then all anarthas will come, all misgivings will start. We'll keep finding faults in others and in ourselves. So we should be like a flowing river. Keep on trying to get more and more knowledge, inspiration, and try to put efforts more and more and seek knowledge and go ahead. You should not wait for the right movement. You should make the movement. So we'll start. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Ram Hare Hare. So we conduct mantra boost sessions every day just to boost ourselves about the importance of mantra meditation every day at 9 p.m. online. So on Saturdays especially we conduct offline also in the mornings, but mantra boost sessions are done every day at 9 p.m. on Teams itself. So if anybody is interested, please consult Ankit, they will let you know. And other than that, on the weekend, as tomorrow, we have celebrations of New Year. So because we entered this New Year of 2025, we will be celebrating this New Year tomorrow. For understanding what celebration of New Year means as per Bhagavad Gita, so there are various perspectives Bhagavad Gita gives about New Year. So to get a glimpse, you can just go through the index and search the terms like year and celebration. You will find various wonderful verses. So we discuss a few verses and have wonderful kirtans tomorrow and prasadam as well. So if available, please consider dropping by. We'll start by around 7. So we can consider taking advantage of this opportunity as well. So prasadam will be served. We can take this and then proceed. Thank you. Don't we have dollar?
Okay.
That's okay. Please serve in dollar. Much. Mixture is not good.
It is there. Prasadam is there. Give the
That's
Prasadam.
okay. So we have Tirupati Prasad also. Shri Srinivas Govinda.
Govinda.
So what is the meaning of Govinda? Govinda is Krishna. But what is the meaning of Govinda?
Senses.
There are various meanings. As you said, one who gives go means cows. Inda means in one meaning is one who gives ananda, pleasure to cows. That's why always cows love Krishna. And also go also refers to senses. That's why Goswami, we heard of Goswami. Goswami means one who is Swami, master of senses. So one who has mastered control of senses, he is called Goswami. Otherwise, he should not be called Goswami just because he has initial or the name at the end. He cannot be called Goswami unless he is mastered in the practice of sense control. Like that, Govinda means one who gives pleasure to senses also. And there is another meaning as per the stories, folk tales related to Srinivas Govinda, Tirupati Leela. So, you know why Govinda has a cut here below? You may not see the cut, but you can only see camphor here, down here the chin. You know why?
When he came to Venkateshwara Swami, he has hidden inside an anthill and the
Lord Brahma, he comes as a cow and will bring milk every day.
Correct. That is related to some hair not being there on his head, because of which one devotee sacrificed her hair. That's why everybody who goes to Tirumala
That time-
gives up his.
Talani.
Correct. What do you say?
He-
This is related to another pastime. So, just when you enter, on the right side you will find what is it called? Just like a very sharp Gulapal laddu. So that an arrow kind of thing, you will find it on the right side of the entrance, still hang there. So there was a great devotee. It's a very interesting story. I just shot
I
it.
forgot his devotee name.
I forgot now. But the story is very simple. So the story was initially when Tirumala was discovered, it was overall forest area. Nobody knew about it. So that devotee was the pujari there and used to worship daily. And when he was worshipping, he had his wife who was pregnant. So they had their own farm area where they would cultivate flower plants and they would pluck flowers there every day and come to do puja, arti, naivedya, all that. So once, while carrying loads of sand to transfer from one place to other in the farm, so this pujari along with his wife, they were carrying. So her wife was pregnant. So taking compassion on those devotees, Lord himself came as a small boy and he wanted to help. So he came to that lady and said, please give me, I will carry for you. So she went away because her master, her husband said, this is your service. This is our service to the Lord, that we should do this cultivating and farming and getting everything and give to the Lord. So if anybody comes to snatch away our service, we should not give like that. But because devotees know their treasure is their seva. Devotees' treasure is their service. So service is very dear to them. So by the instruction, she did give. So she kept coming and she kept persuading, please give me this butta, the bucket that you are holding. I will help you to do that. So she kept persuading. Then it became so fierce with in an angry mood that this person started threatening, go away, otherwise I will beat you, or I will throw some sharp edges on you. So because that guna form is used in that Hadi, so in words only he just throw that sharp edged that rod which is used in Pavi towards that small child, and that small child just ran away. That's it. Nowhere to be found. But later, when he came to offer worship, he saw in the deity blood oozing out of the chin. So blood was oozing out. So then he was shocked. Oh, this was the same child who came there. So he collected all the rods and he started paying obeisances and he begged forgiveness. And he kept on crying and offering prayers. So later Lord said, no worries, I know, I just wanted to test how dear is your service to you. Now you can just offer camphor mixed with rice flour and some more other ingredients are added in that. It's a very special ingredient. So that if you can put here, that will stop my bleeding. So that's why in every deity you will see there will be this camphor mixed with rice flour put here, the water here. So there are so many stories related to this. So today I was reading one shloka. It was very interesting in connection to what we discussed about the stories of the Lord. I'll just read that and conclude. This is the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 13th chapter. Yeah, 13th chapter, last verse, which is 50th verse. So this is a verse by Maitreya. He says, Who other than one who is not a human being can exist in this world and not be interested in the ultimate goal of life? Who can refuse the nectar of narrations about the personality of Godhead activities, which by itself can deliver one from all material pangs? So such is the nature. So it is saying, who can refuse the nectarian stories about the Lord, which are by itself so nectarian and it can deliver one from all material pangs. Material pangs means? Material pangs means? Material problems. Pangs means? Like hunger pangs, we hear. When you have hunger, thirst, we have some problem, pain. So all these pains can be mitigated when we can hear the narrations about the Lord, about Him in various incarnations. We should keep on hearing. Srimad Bhagavad Purana is full of them. So whenever you get time, you can try to read. Even Bhagavad Gita is full of them.